So we're 2 weeks away from the end of the year, and it is becoming a struggle to stay motivated to continue posting and creating content for social media. If you are feeling the same way, then stay tuned to the rest of the video because I am going to go over about 5 tips that really help you so that you can stay motivated to continue on social media so that you can increase your presence online and crush it in 2020. So stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Jay Franco, and in this week's video, we are talking about staying motivated on social media. And a lot of times I get clients or potential clients that call me and they tell me it's just so hard. On one side you have the people that say, oh, social media is a waste of time, it doesn't work, and they don't do anything about it, right? And on the other side, you have people that say, well, social media doesn't work, but they never get on it. They don't know how to use it. They don't even want to attempt to get on social media to drive new business to their business. So you've got 2 people, the one that says social media didn't work because I tried it and it didn't work for me, yet they weren't posting enough. And then the other people who have never actually tried it at all. So I'm talking specifically about this group over here. A lot of times you get discouraged because you put a post and there's crickets. No one shares it, no one likes it, and no one comments, and no one does anything with your content. But if you're following this channel, then that means that you pretty much follow Gary Vee, or that you've heard who Gary Vee is. And he's constantly talking about creating and pushing out tons and tons of content daily. A lot of times, I actually went back and I, took a step back and I looked at my content and I realized I wasn't posting enough. Mind you, a lot of people are posting 1 time a day on Twitter, 1 time a day on Facebook, 1 time a day on Instagram. Now, each and every single platform is a little different and should be treated different. You should not be vomiting on all the platforms in the same way. But what I mean by vomit is you take one piece of content and it's the exact same thing and you post it across all social media. So people are like, okay, I just saw that on Twitter. Okay, I just saw that on Instagram, and now you posted it again on Facebook. So you've got to really tailor your content for every single platform. But I was realizing that I'm not putting enough content out there. I'm not creating enough. I'm not taking videos like this, chopping them up, and taking little snippets of every video to create micro content for the platforms that they can live on. So what I want to make sure that I tell you guys this year coming up for 2020 is that what I want to share with you for 2020 is that you've got to stay motivated on social media. These are 5 ways that you can stay motivated the entire year so that you're constantly crushing it with your content on social media. The first one, I'm going to talk about interacting with other businesses and brands that have your same goals. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is because when you're on a cheerleading squad or when you're on a football team, you tend to pump each other up and get excited because you're all going for the same goal. So when you're on social media, make sure that you're reaching out to people that also do the same things that you do. 1, because you'll learn from them. 2, because you're also on the same goal and the same path. So you're taking the same journey. Mind you, you may be in different places of the journey, but you're all on the same journey. One of the things that I love to do is I have a group text on my Facebook with other marketers, and we're constantly talking about certification courses, mastery courses from like Jeff Sawyer, or hacks to do certain things. The other day, I don't know why my mind went blank and I couldn't figure out how to, do an RSS feed link. And one of my marketer friends, she's just like, oh, here you go. She sent me a link and she's like, just type it in there and it'll automatically give you an RSS feed link. And I mean, it's just so great to have people that you can share ideas, troubleshoot with, and really create that dialogue that help you. And then when you get a client, they're so excited for you. When they get a client, you're excited for them. You're rooting for them. They're rooting for you. So it's really important to interact with other brands and businesses that share your same interests and goals. All right, the second one is do it for the right reasons. Continue on social media for the right reasons. And the reason is to help other people. When you're on social media, whether it's your personal self as a personal brand or for your business is there to add value and give people value. I was talking to a client of mine this week, and I was going through all of their social media posts that the previous company was doing for them. And I'm like, you're not adding value. Everything is call me. Everything is like, you want to buy a house? Call me. You want to do this? Call me. You want to do that? Call me. But you're not giving your audience anything to get excited over. You're not asking your audience questions. You're not engaging with them. You're not letting them talk to you and come up to you and say, oh, yeah, what about this? Or what about that? Like, you're not getting them to really look at your posts and get to interact with you. Remember, I was talking about interacting with people and businesses. You've got to get your fans or your audience to also interact with you. So do it for the right reasons. And the right reason is to add value to the community that you serve. No matter what the industry is, make sure that you're continuing to add value. So you're doing it for the right reasons, which is to help other people. Some people out there may not know about social media. For the case of my client, they're in credit repair, debt restoration, all that stuff. And there's a lot of consumers out there that have no idea how to repair the credit or why certain things impact their credit score. And I've gotten so excited about this new client because in the process, I'm learning so much, even from the things that she tells me about her business. I'm learning a lot. And I'm like, wow, no one teaches this stuff. This is the stuff that the consumer needs to know. This is the stuff that the audience needs to know. And when you're starting to give those kind of value-added pieces, value content, your audience is going to respond to you and start getting to know you, start having an affinity to you and looking up to you. And number 3 is to remember that you have fans. Throughout the process of you creating all of this value, you're going to end up having fans. This year have had some fans, and I'm so excited because there's people that watch me on YouTube that send me DMs on Instagram. There's people that have bought my courses this year. There's people that have just reached out to me on Facebook or any on my social media platforms, retweeted, reshared. I've got this one fan that every time I post anything, she shares everything. Same thing with this. Well, I've got 2 fans that are always like that. But I've got this one fan like 2 states away from me that bought my courses, is all about me, and is ready to say whatever else you're gonna sell, I'm ready to buy. And that is so important because you've got to do it for your fans. So remember and stay motivated and remember about your fans all the time. Your fans literally feed inspiration, make you feel like you are doing something worthwhile and valuable, that you're really imparting value and knowledge into someone else, and that you're actually helping. Remember I was talking about like you've got to do it because you want to help other people? Then that kind of fuel, it's this like little cycle of like nonstop fuel that will help you stay motivated to continue to post on social media this coming year. And I know that it gets hard and it is sometimes a little too much to create content. I create content for a living, not just for myself, but for my clients too. And there's times where I am in constant content creation mode, and I now have a partner also that I started a joint venture with. So we've got clients together, then I've got clients by myself, he's got clients by himself, and then I still have my agency over here who they take care of other things also. And here's the thing, when it comes back down to create content for myself, I'm just like all content out, like tapped out, because I've done so much content for everyone else that I forget that, I have to also plan content for myself and create it from scratch. So the number 4, tip that I can give you for 2020 is that take breaks. If you need to take a break, take a break. So what I started doing is I remember having listening to Gary Vee, and he talks about like the sprint, and he talks about like these moments of like where he's sprinting and then moments of rest, sprinting, moments of rest. So I have adopted that into my life this 2019, and I plan to execute it and perfect it in 2020, which is create moments of sprinting and moments of rest. And what does that mean? That means that I'm gonna batch create way more content. I'm gonna batch create my videos. I'm gonna sit and really dedicate and hone in on a time that I'm just gonna like rip out a whole bunch of videos. Or that I'm gonna sit there and rip out a whole bunch of images that I need to do and graphic design, all that stuff. And then there's gonna be a one weekend where I'm gonna pump out, all the blog posts that I need to do, or, just all the micro content. I'm gonna spend another weekend where I just chop everything up and create little bits and pieces of digestible content for Twitter or stories or all of that stuff. So you create all of these and you sprint at it. Like you go hard and you run for it. Then, here's the best part. Then you program all that stuff and you let it rip. You automate it. So in the description below, you can get 15 days to try out Loomly, which is my favorite social media management tool. I am obsessed with Loomly. I put all my clients on Loomly. And you'll get to try it out and see if you like it and love it as much as I do. I'm pretty sure you will. So you've got to automate all of your content. Put it in, plug it in, automate it, let it rip. Then you can spend that time to just chill, relax. And if you need to take a whole entire week off from doing absolutely nothing, take it. Because you can get stuck mentally if you're constantly running. And I've gotten to points where I'm always creating content and I get stuck. I don't know what else to create. I'm working with another client right now and I created so much content that I'm like, what else can I post? Like I don't know what else I can come up with. And so what I did is I took 2 weeks off from their stuff because I just could not think of anything else I could come up with. So I got stuck. So take small breaks, get yourself unstuck by taking the break and automate all of your stuff, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to live and manage and literally not go insane, because you cannot keep track of every single post and you can't manually post everything every single day. Life happens and life gets in the way. And if I put all my clients on Loomly because I want to automate them, then why shouldn't I put myself on an automation platform also? So go through periods of sprinting where you create large amounts of content, then sit back, let it rip, watch it all, and check out your analytics and see what's working. Come back and create more of the same content that the people are falling in love with. So if you see that a specific type of content, whether video, audio, or a specific type of graphic works the best and gets reshared most or gets likes most or gets the most comments, then really start to pay attention to analytics and let your people tell you what type of content you should produce, because that's also going to keep you from getting unstuck. If you listen to your audience using analytics, then you're also going to be so in tune to what they want that you're always going to be ready to do exactly that kind of content. So you're never going to get stuck thinking, what else can I create? Or I've already created everything I could possibly think of. Sometimes they want more of the same content. So number 5, the last tip of the tips for how to stay motivated in social media for 2020 is you don't have to be on every single platform. And the reason why I say it that way is because I still don't understand why some people think that they have to be on every single social media platform. And here's the thing, my biggest pet peeve is when, as earlier was I mentioning, you take one piece of content and then you just distribute it across all the social media platforms. And the reason why that's my biggest pet peeve is because hashtags are different on Facebook, hashtags are different on Twitter, hashtags are different on Instagram, hashtags are different on Pinterest. So if you're using hashtags, your hashtag strategy, you're using the same hashtags for every single platform, they're not going to translate. Also, the way you talk to people on the platform is very different on every single platform. You cannot sell people the way you sell on Facebook, buy me, call me. You can't automate that type of post to go everywhere, because on LinkedIn, the people on LinkedIn are professionals and they're going to block you. They're going to unfollow you and they're just not, quite frankly, going to care for your content if you're constantly trying to sell them something. And it even goes for the same for Facebook. Sometimes you can't overly sell on Facebook because people will lose interest, and they are going to think that that's all you want out of them. And on Instagram, people don't want to look at that kind of stuff. They want beautiful pictures. They want to be motivated, inspired. They want to take action for something that you champion for, or some inspirational quote that you shared that really made their day. And on Twitter, you're talking to people in the industry. You're talking about trendsetters and influencers in the industry. You're sharing knowledge back and forth and ideas and asking questions. So when you're constantly pumping up the same content on all platforms, or you're constantly just selling on Twitter, no one's gonna care. And all of those influencers and leaders, those thought leaders in the industry that you serve, they're not gonna see you as a thought leader. So if you really want to take your social media into the next level, then you've got to start thinking of social media that way. And that means that you don't have to be on every single platform. Me and my partner were talking about this specific client that we have, and we decided that he doesn't have to be on Instagram. Like, that, there's no reason for him to be on Instagram. Like, just none. It makes no freaking sense. We really honed in on Facebook, because Facebook is where the majority of that specific target market is, and we didn't want to go overboard with trying to do Twitter, LinkedIn, and all this stuff. And he's a lawyer, so we really want to make sure that we're capturing the leads where the leads are. So live where your target audience is. I know that I personally like to dabble in all platforms. You'll see me get really, really concentrated on one. Like, I'm really focused on always bringing content and value to you through my YouTube channel. You'll also see that I've ramped up a little bit of my Twitter posting, and because I want to be seen as a thought leader, as I told you, so I'm constantly pumping out content, and I'm constantly trying to retweet people and talk to people on Twitter. Then on Facebook is where I talk to my audience, to my actual target market, and I get to talk to other business owners that really need help with social media. So the reason why I'm on all platforms is because as a social media marketer, I've got to be present on platforms and understand how they work. Because if I have a client whose target market is only on LinkedIn, but I don't use that platform, then I don't know how to help them increase their brand and generate leads for them. So that's the reason why I'm on all platforms. Very different than the reason why you're on all platforms. So again, you do not have to be on every single platform in 2020. And that is one of the key ways to stay motivated on social media, because if you try to do too much across all platforms, you will get stuck. You will get burnt out. You will find times where you're like, I can't. And so a lot of clients tell me, I started posting, but I saw that there was nothing and I couldn't do it anymore. But that's because they were trying to cover too much in such little time, and they weren't focusing on where their real clients were. If your clients are strictly on Instagram, that if you have a boutique, and link your stuff so that they can shop directly on the platform and find them there. You may not need to be on Twitter. You may not need to be on LinkedIn either. But perhaps Instagram and Facebook are the two places. Or even TikTok. If your demographic is like that 18, 24-year-olds, then, why not do a whole bunch of TikTok videos, challenges with your clothes because you're a boutique owner, and I'm just throwing that out there, and you want to show out your fashion in your boutique. So again, don't think that you've got to be across all social media platforms. Just because I'm on every platform doesn't mean that you have to be on every platform, because that is not the right strategy for you. And that is one of the best ways to avoid, getting stagnant on social media and feeling unmotivated for the most part to be on social media. So again, those are my tips for you for 2020. As I said, how to stay motivated on social media. You've got to interact with other businesses, interact with people that are also do the same thing that you do, because it's kind of like this little pep rally. You guys cheer each other on. You're on the same team and you celebrate your victories. You've got to do it for all the right reasons, and the right reasons is to help people and give them value, because that is so important. And you always have to remember that you have fans, whether it's 1 fan or 2 fans or 1,000 fans. You've got to remember that on social media you have that one fan, that super fan that's going to follow you around. If you need more information, go to the description below. There's 2 books that I recommend that you read this year in 2020. It's called Super Fans by Pat Flynn. And the other one is 1 Million Followers by Brendan Kane. 2 of the best books that talk about creating fans, super fans, and people that are constantly going to buy from you. Then I talked about how you've got to take small breaks. You've got to run the sprint and then take a break, run the sprint, take a break. So constantly create lots of content and then set it on automate so that you cannot be stuck this year. So if you're starting to feel like you're stuck, then it's time to slow down, pump the brakes, automate that stuff, and go back and just take like a week, 2 weeks off, even a whole month off if you want to. And then go back at it with a real strategy where you're, clear-minded and you're unstuck, and that you could start creating passionate content for your business and for your personal brand. Last but not least, as I said, it is to not be on every single platform, because you can suffer from burnout, and you've got to focus on only the platforms that your target audience is. So again, you don't have to be on every single platform. Please get it through your heads in 2020 that you don't have to be on every single platform. You've only got to be in the platforms where your people live, where you can actually legitimately start generating leads from that platform. So if it's not Twitter, if your people, your target audience is not on Twitter, and you want to be on Twitter, guess what? You're not going to generate leads. You're just expending energy that you need to reserve so that you can sprint and really get to where you're going in 2020. I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to stay motivated on social media in 2020. And besitos a todos. Make sure to like and subscribe, y nos vemos la próxima semana.